Hey guys, Chain Gear here, bringing another video, and today we are back with GearCast episode 11. That is right, GearCast episode 11, 1. And today, as you guys know, I am not here by myself. I'm always here with my co-host Vampire Peaches, but we have a special guest today. Vampire Peaches, why don't you tell us who you're with, and of course, say hi as well.
There wasn't any clapping. Usually I clap after he says 11. Yeah, 11, and you did this. We got Cat Stash clanmate, Fat Kid Baby Seat, and one of the co-founders of the Self-Esteem team.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah, here we go. It's our buddy Quincy.
Yeah, it's just a friend of Peaches and Chain Gear. Just, here today.
Yeah, we got our cups. Yeah. We got to stay hydrated. We're going to be talking for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, so this is good. I like this because we talked about this before. Being able to kind of add in other people, just add into the discussion. Hopefully one day we're gonna get devs. We're gonna get like pro players on this channel. That's the goal. That's the goal. But we always want to bring in people that are close to us, people that we've played with, especially people that we play with. Of course, obviously, we don't want to bring in like I have some random friends that I have that don't play video games. But Fat Kid Baby Seat, Quincy has been playing with us for a while. Honorary member of Cat Stash Clan. He's kind of on and off. Anytime he's kind of playing Blacklight, he comes in and plays with us. Otherwise, he plays a lot with the Self-Esteem team, which we'll have to go over one day. We do have a episode of GearCast planned for ways that myself and Vampire Peaches play, and we always play usually with a group, whether it be a clan or kind of like just an ad hoc group that we're with at the time. And I know that Peaches has mentioned Self-Esteem team for a while. We'll have to do a whole separate podcast on those kind of things, but it's definitely nice to have you here, Quincy. Definitely nice. It's gonna be awesome because we're gonna talk about a lot of awesome things, which a lot of you guys already know about because you're looking at you're already seen the title of this video, the future.
We're not gonna lie about the title. Be like, psych, we're gonna be talking about Nintendo for an hour and a half.
Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. No. Probably not, but yeah, April Fools. We'll do that. We'll do that on April. You guys won't even remember, but yeah. So we're gonna talk about the future of consoles. So that's gonna be pretty awesome. So good time to have you. Good episode to have you. But let's jump into things like we always do, guys. No apologies this time around, because why? Why do it? Why apologize when there's? I'm sure there's something to apologize about, right?
I'm sorry, we're kicking off the new year with like a guest already. This is
right.
Awesome.
We're doing good. We're doing good. Well, let's jump right into releases. You guys know how we do this every single week. We talk about the releases coming out next week. Fun fact, we're actually recording this on the 17th of January, which is a Sunday. So it's right after GearCast just came out. We're doing this because I'm doing a lot of recording and a lot of editing, getting back into Blacklight. As you guys know, if you've watched the most recent, well, I'm sorry, I guess you guys will see this on the 22nd or the 23rd, which means there's a video. You guys have already seen all of the videos, I guess, that I've been producing already. So there's a whole bunch of Blacklight content out there.
Not recently, that one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's going to be 7, hopefully. There's a video coming out every single day, all about Blacklight and the AR, the assault rifle. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that content. And so we're recording this early. That way I can really focus.
PlayStation blows up tomorrow. We're not going to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, fair enough. Exactly. So PlayStation blows up tomorrow. We get a whole bunch of free games. It's not going to be on this podcast. It'll be on just
Here's a year extension of PlayStation Plus.
Speaking of which, that free day of PlayStation Plus for all those who that outage affected. We got that free day of PlayStation Plus for all those that we need that back. But anyway, let's jump into the releases. Basically, all I'm saying is that we're early this time around, but we're going to talk about the releases for the week of the 25th. The week of the 25th, and there are 2 days that games are coming out. The week of the day of the 26th and the day of the 29th. And so, day of the 26th, there are 2 games coming out, and those games are The Witness and Lego Marvel's Avengers. These are pretty big games. These are pretty big games. A lot of you probably have not heard about The Witness just because you probably aren't interested in that kind of game, talking about the subscribers that are on the channel. But this is kind of a puzzle game that we've been talking about, that the PlayStation Nation has been talking about for years. I think it was supposed to be a launch title. Is that correct? You know what I'm talking about, Vampire Peaches?
The names have been floating around forever, but I never actually dug into what it was because it's always been this like ethereal, weird presence that people have been kind of talking about, but it's been over the course of such a long period of time that I keep forgetting about it.
Yeah, I think if you look at the actual like trailer or something, you'll remember what it is. It's like basically a first person, like you walk around and there are these puzzles that you use the touchpad to kind of solve, and you're going through this world, and it's basically just a world full of puzzles. But it's supposed to be a really big deal, but a lot of people kind of just lost interest because of how old it is at this point. But we'll see. It's the guy that created Braid, yeah, that puzzle platformer kind of game, so it's kind of a big deal. But I think an even bigger deal is Lego Marvel Avengers, for all of those who love the Lego games. Interestingly enough, they own, Lego has the rights to the DC universe and the Marvel universe.
And so Doctor Who and Portal and Simpsons and
right. So those are yeah. I don't know how they did that. It seems like Mega Bloks only has like Halo and weird stuff. Not that Halo's weird, just the fact that they have Halo is weird. Anyway,
Mega Bloks is gonna come out with its own game, its own like come to life toys.
Yeah, well, they can try. But so Lego Marvel Avengers is coming out. That's kind of exciting for those that like the Marvel universe and love the Avengers. Those two games are coming out. Lego games are always good, so that's always a nice thing to have. So that's coming out on January 26th, The Witness and Lego Marvel Avengers. And then on the 29th, which is the 29th is a Friday, so that's exciting. That has two games coming out. Ooh, this one's a big one, and then this other one, I'm surprised at this. I don't even know what this is. This War of Mine, The Little Ones.
Oh my god, I'm so ready for that.
And Sebastian Loeb Rally Evo. So another racing game coming out that I've never heard of. That's coming out, and let's just get that one out of the way. It's literally just there's always room for a good rally game, and Sebastian Loeb Rally Evo looks to fill that void. This title is from the developer Milestone, who has previously worked on the popular WRC series. This is what we talked about last time. Remember when we talked about PlayStation games coming out, like the PlayStation Studios, and there was World Rally Championship or whatever?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, these guys are apparently making another rally game, and apparently it's being developed with the input of the professional driver Sebastian Loeb. And so apparently he now has his own titled game, even though I don't know who he is. Maybe this will be big in the EU. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of him. I'm also not a fan of the racing sport at all. So maybe this will do well. I doubt it, but who knows? But big.
Like a NASCAR racer and be like, I have my own video game series now. Well, you watch me. I'm going to get out.
See, I don't think it's NASCAR. I think it's just some it's definitely not NASCAR.
No,
It's like
the thing is, he has like a NASCAR celebrity be like, now I'm not NASCAR. I'm the game of my own racing series.
Right. Good point. So who knows? Maybe if there's a demo for it, I'll play it. Put it that way.
This War of Mine I've been waiting forever, actually, because we were talking about like the type of games that we love to play. It's kind of like an anthill kind of like a management sim. So like it's post-apocalyptic. You have to go out and get resources and stuff for your like dying family and all the children they're taking care of in the apocalypse. But the thing is, kids gotta live. So you're gonna be making a lot of questionably gonna make a lot of moral choices in order to keep your family afloat, because you're gonna be stealing from like all kinds of people, like all kinds of ages and stuff like that. And like people are, you're gonna have to ration out food and stuff like that. So I watched like let's plays of it, but I didn't want to watch too much because this is one of the games I really wanted to be able to make the experience my own. And I was considering getting it for my laptop or whatever, because I'll apparently be able to run it. But the second I heard that an expansion of it and the base game were coming to PlayStation, I was like, nope, trophies. As you know from last week, gotta have some trophies. So.
Yeah, agreed. No, this game is a very big game, highly critically acclaimed again. A lot of games that are on the PC, they're getting ported over to PS4 because of the architecture, and the same with Xbox One. And this is one of them, and this is a really big deal with, again, like you mentioned, with add-ons and stuff like that. So this is going to be really exciting. I'd love to play the game, but I don't know if I'll ever have time to dive into the game. As you guys know here on the channel, that the video that I released last Sunday, talking about all of the new games that I'm going to be covering. It was about a 16-minute video all about the new games I'm covering and things like that throughout this year. And so I don't know exactly how much time I'll be able to play for games like that, but hopefully
it's for you to be able to play The Witcher, so we can talk about it. You just got it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did just get it. Fun fact for maybe those that didn't see the video, I got The Witcher. Actually, I've been talking about it. I've had The Witcher for a couple weeks now, but I've been super busy. Just life keeps hitting me and all this stuff. Actually, this weekend is my Witcher weekend. I was supposed to start yesterday, but instead I watched all of One Punch Man, and I went to sleep about 9 o'clock. So, you know, I'll start The Witcher this weekend, as in today, and what is today, Sunday? Yeah, so, you know, hopefully I'll get through a good chunk of that, and I'll talk to you guys about it. But yeah, hopefully, maybe, Peaches, you'll be able to get the, what are we talking about? This war, what is it?
It's gonna be great.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll be good. But those are all the releases. You guys want to talk about any other releases? You guys know about anything? Am I missing anything? Probably not. But
apparently, the only thing that we're really hankering for a release date for at this point is Gang Beasts. There's nothing yet from Double Fine. I was like, oh yeah. So they said early, like 2016 or like mid 2016, but they've yet to make up their mind to tell us anything. First quarter. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Also, Fallout might be releasing some news about their first expansions and DLC. Because they said the first expansion is going to be coming out in the first quarter, but I don't know if they're going to be talking about that the way they did Fallout 4. It's like, yeah, we made the expansion, it comes out tomorrow. Okay, bye.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see something like that, some random, but we'll see. We'll see. So, as you guys know, after we go through the releases, we usually go through some news, if there is any news for us to really go over. Again, this is pretty early for us to be recording. This is the Sunday, right after, again, episode 10 released, so we have a lot of time for a lot of things to happen throughout the week. But today, there is only a little bit of news that I wanted to go over, and it's not actually news, it's just kind of a reminder. Oh, actually, this may not even be relevant by that time. I just thought about that. This might not even be relevant. Wow, that would suck. Well, I'm just going to do this just because, you know, for those that maybe, I don't know, if this sale still is out, there's the PlayStation Essentials sale. Currently, it's the 17th right now we're recording this, and there's an awesome sale. Hopefully you didn't miss it. That's the thing that sucks when we record.
We can talk about what we got at the sale if we did anything, because I got Dragon Age Inquisition for like $12, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some good deals. The best deals I would say are Infamous Second Son and Infamous First Light. I don't know how much Infamous First Light is because I had already purchased it, and I played Infamous Second Son as a disc, but it's $10 for Infamous Second Son. I don't know how much First Light. I'm assuming it's like $5 or something. If I don't know if you guys were able to see how much it costs, but there's some other
things, as you know, like, I don't know when that review is going up, because there is like our first channel review, like of a big AAA game coming out.
Oh, right. That'll go up probably near the release of this GearCast.
Sounds good. The way that me and Chain Gear hold like a game in terms of like any sort of like ranking system is how much we pay for those games. So Infamous Second Son, Dragon Age Inquisition, those are both $60 games in full. So like seeing that stuff go to like $12 like for hundreds of hours of content, I'm like, oh yeah, this sale is.
Yeah, if you're not buying it, like, then I don't know what you're doing. Like if you haven't already played it, or if maybe you're just into like, you know, FPS first person shooters or something, and that's fine. But if you're a gamer and sorry, I shouldn't have said that. If you're the type of gamer that likes to diversify their portfolio of games and likes to get a whole bunch of different types of experiences, actually a lot of players in the Catstash clan recently have been getting Infamous Second Son, have been playing a lot of it and have been loving it, and it's $10, guys. Like, it's $10. So if you have the money, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, $10 isn't a lot of money, but if you have the $10
cards, all your GameStop cards, all your Best Buy cards.
if you have Call of Duty Ghost and you're not playing it anymore, sell it and go get this. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's basically what I'm saying.
Another $7.
Yeah, and there are a lot of other games in here too that are pretty good. If you guys like racing games, Need for Speed Rivals, the Complete Edition, which has everything in it, is a pretty great racing game. I actually see the price because I had already purchased that game. That's pretty good. Metro Redux is a phenomenal game as well. And Metro Light, I actually believe Metro Redux has all of the Metro games, or the 2 Metro games, which is Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light. Both games are phenomenal, and both games are for $9. That's insane. I'm kind of freaking out about how insane that is. I bought it on sale a while ago, probably for $20. Now that it's $10, that's
Even
pretty good.
That was a great sale because it, I think it was included both games and like both of them separately. Were,
I think it was a bundle, yeah.
Because that's phenomenal. It's a remastering of the 2 like cult games based on like that Russian novel that everyone likes. Both are again gigantic values because it's spooky. It's a very unique variant on like. Because when we talk about apocalypse, we always go to New York or we go to like these major American cities, but we never see what it's like in like a European setting.
Mm-hmm.
Really heartbreaking stories too. Like that is an extremely thematic, immersive game. I never beat Metro Last Light.
Okay.
Yeah, fun fact as well. I never beat Metro Last Light. Ballistic Phoenix was beating Metro 2033. He really enjoyed that, and I liked watching him play it. He was pretty good at it. He enjoyed it. Metro Last Light I played on PS3, and I liked it so much that I had to stop because I knew I was going to get it on PS4. And so I have it on PS4. Still have not played it, of course, like all my other games, but definitely worth getting. Especially if you like first-person shooters.
Like the hardcore demographic because they have like a special like ranger mode that lets you take out the HUD and like makes ammo like really scarce. That sort of thing. Get the wipe your face.
Yeah. If you guys are into that kind of like really hardcore kind of RPG element where you're really playing that character, you're really involved in that time period in that place, it's a good one. Especially if you like that hardcore like this is gonna be really really difficult for me, or I beat the game and I want to try it again on a harder difficulty, maybe get them trophies, that kind of stuff. So a lot of good games out here. A lot of good games. Another good one that I've mentioned before. My favorite Assassin's Creed game. The only one I really enjoy is Black Flag, the gold edition, so everything in it.
Good point. It's like, listen, this is the good one. Just get it. Just get it.
Yeah, if you don't play Assassin's Creed, this is the one. $20 for the gold edition, $15 for the non-gold, so probably not worth getting the non-gold one. There's other games too, Call of Duty, and like he just had mentioned, Dragon Age. Those games are on sale as well. But don't want to spend too much time on that. Just wanted to kind of let you guys know. Of course, highly possible that this sale is no longer available, and if it's not, and if there's a new sale, that's really awkward. But yeah, awesome sales. So that's it. Those are the releases. Those are the news. There isn't much else. There isn't a ton of other news. If there is news coming out, or if there is news, hopefully you guys will have seen it throughout the week already. And just me maybe doing a couple videos about some news that I think is interesting enough. Otherwise, let's get into the subject at hand here. The subject of the week.
Subject of the week.
We're trying. Subject of the week. The future of consoles. The future of consoles. So a lot of people are probably going to be like, "Why are you talking about the future of consoles? This is a new." People say next gen. People say next gen. People are still like, "All right, did you hop on next gen yet? Or are you playing the PS4?" I know people who are still playing PS3, Xbox 360. They still
got like 30 million something units out, and like the PS4 is in a lot of homes. People still haven't upgraded. We have very close friends like Adam still plays Skyrim on PS3. It's like, when are you gonna upgrade? He's like, well, it's on my radar because it's really expensive. Like, for some reason, people are really clinging on to last gen. Like, just I don't know why. Maybe we can talk about that.
I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of hard. I mean, it's like, I upgraded to both. I have an Xbox One and PS4, and I sold my previous consoles to get them. But I mean, it's a lot of people are still trying to get the life out of their consoles. Like, a lot of people still see the 360 as a quality platform. As long as developers keep putting out games, why would you upgrade?
Yeah. So eventually, it's going to dwindle, right?
I mean, this year might be the last. I thought last year would be the last year we would see games for the 360, but Black Ops 3 came out on 360.
That is
Granted,
correct.
It was horrible, but frame rate was horrible. It didn't have the campaign. It didn't have certain features. It's not getting DLC.
Huh.
So I mean, it's a lot of games are getting cut. Like a lot of games are getting like their content cut for previous gen platforms.
Plus, everything's cheap now. Everything's like $10, $12 like in the bargain bin. So people are like, "Oh, great! Now that the next generation is happening, I can get all the games that I didn't get."
I would say that the last gen of consoles, right, is a phenomenal platform for someone to start gaming. I mean, the value itself. I remember when I had my PS2, when I bought My gaming life cycle is pretty weird, and again, something that we can go over, in another one of our podcasts. But my gaming life cycle was really bizarre, and I bought a PS2 pretty late in the game. I bought a PS2 when the PS Slim had come out. So the PS Slim came out, and so I got I bought it, and I bought a whole bunch of $10 games with it, basically $5 games. Went to that bargain bin and bought like games that are awesome that aren't bargain games, like God of War 3, the full Resistance collection. And so now that the PS3 and the Xbox 360 are kind of the last gen consoles, people will still buy those consoles and then buy tons of games for them, or like myself, like I still have my PS3, which now my roommate has, and he can play anything he wants for extremely inexpensive prices, especially when you have awesome subscription packages like Xbox Gold games and PlayStation Plus, where you're getting awesome games, AAA titles that are maybe old to me, but maybe completely new to someone else. And so there's a lot of value in those games left, those consoles, and that life cycle is still there. And I think it's good. It's a good thing.
There is.
You remember when I got the PS3, the GTA 5 bundle? You
were so happy. You got the 500 gigabyte top loader, the Slim.
This is the end of the PS3 lifecycle, by the way. The PS4 had already been announced, and it was coming out like that holiday season. And you got me into Uncharted because, like Brandon said, it was in the bargain bin at GameStop. So I got Uncharted 1 and 2 for like $5.
Yeah,
like I completely went through the story, and but I went through it maybe years after it came out. So I mean, like and you gotta look at like parents. Like a lot of parents who are buying their kids consoles aren't looking to spend $400, $500. So they're probably like, well, what's cheap, but like kids still play. And people are probably like, people playing the 360s. Here's a 360 I bought for $110 with like 4 games.
Yep. As you know, the GameStop's gonna do something like the Best Buy's like. Then again, Best Buy does these things where it's like, get an Xbox One and get a $500 television for free. It's like, what?
Right.
The TVs, man.
Yeah,
you can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's a good point. Different reasons for everyone to get, old generation of consoles, this generation of consoles, keep playing them, stop playing them. But we're going to talk about the future of consoles, which, again, as you guys can see, is pretty weird. Why are we talking about the future of consoles? People are still playing the last gen of consoles. People are just getting into the new generation. This new generation is the 2016. A lot of people are saying this is the year that's going to prove why you need to get the next gen, or this gen, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, or maybe upgrade your graphics card or something. Maybe we'll see some more information about the NX, right? Who knows? But that's why we're here to talk about the future of consoles, is because is there something, how long is this life cycle going to last? When should we start getting ready? Let's take an early look at what could happen next generation. Who knows, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, how they're going to do the upgrade cycle. And so what I basically did here is I have a list of different attributes of a console, right? We've got life cycle, we've got resolution, we've got different parts of the console, like the disk drive, controllers, and we're basically just going to go through and kind of talk about what these different aspects are and what we think the next generation is going to look like. So this one's just kind of a fun thing for us to talk about, and for those who are watching, subscribers, viewers, definitely let us know what you guys think. We're mostly going to talk about the PlayStation 5, if you will, the idea of a PlayStation 5. We may talk about Nintendo, we may talk about Xbox, we may even talk about PC and all that stuff, but we really want to kind of talk about PlayStation, Sony, and what maybe the idea of a PlayStation 5 would look like. And let us know what you guys are thinking in the comment section below. What do you guys think we're going to see? What kind of games do you think we're going to see? What is it going to look like? How much is it going to cost? That kind of stuff. So go ahead and let us know what you guys are thinking in the comment section below as you guys are watching. Let's just get started with the life cycle. And this is really what got me thinking about it. Industry consultant Michael Pachter, for those that are big industry guys out there, basically has his YouTube channel and talked about the life cycle, and he thinks that the life cycle will last less than last year's life cycle, maybe around 6 to 7 years, six more years, or did you say maximum of 6? Say it again.
6 years for the entire cycle, or 6 additional years after?
That's what I was just thinking. I wasn't sure if he meant 6 more years or 6 years. I think he meant 6 years, a 6-year life cycle. But we'll see. We'll see. And so this was his thing. I don't want to talk about too much about what he was thinking, especially because I don't think a lot of our viewers know who Michael Packer is. But what do you guys think is the life cycle for the PlayStation 4? How many more years? And you know, discuss this how you will. We don't want to stay too long on each subject. But what do you guys think? You know, if you guys think there's going to be, you know, this is the last life cycle, do you guys think that this is going to live forever? Do you guys think this is the last one that's going to end tomorrow? You know, what do you guys think?
Okay, so like I worked the release of the PS4, and I'll tell you one thing that genuinely feels weird is that I still haven't gotten into like the genuine groove that everyone is on the PS4 train. So people will be like, teachers, well, what does that mean? I'm playing my PS4, and down the hall, everyone's playing their PS3s and Xbox 360s and stuff. People haven't hopped onto this generation yet. What's weird is that, like, with the PS3 life cycle, people have been getting into like a mid to late game, myself included. I got into like the middle of the life cycle, and you got to the end of the life cycle. So I was like, I wonder if that's going to be ever so extended with this generation, in the sense that when we hit like year 5 or year 6, is that when there's gonna be like a mass upgrade? So here's my prediction, at least. I think this console generation is going to last about as long as the last one, so extremely long, like 9, like coming up 8 or 9 years. Yeah. So that's total, not after this, but 8 or 9 years. Until we're gonna talk about this on the next bullet point. But once, like you made a great point last night, like once 4K becomes a thing, everyone's gonna be hopping onto the TVs and upgrading their televisions and stuff like that. They're probably gonna up the capacity of the PS4, like the drives and stuff like that, to make it like the slims are gonna be like 4K compatible. So I think resolution and VR is what's gonna make the next console generation like the ending of this life cycle. But I think PS4 is going to be here for a damn long while. I don't know. Possible. What do you think?
I mean, it's, as I said, before, it's like once 4K becomes the standard, I think is when we'll start to see a demand for something more powerful. Because as it stands right now, I mean, consoles are just mid to low end PCs. I mean, not really moddable in the sense of like a home PC is, but they're powerful in their own right, and they can. I mean, they're standing what 1080p.
If people want 60 FPS as a standard for everything, like it is on PC, but we're not even there yet.
No, not yet at least. But I would say around the same amount of time. If anything, 2 years lower than what the last generation was. So last year, like the 360 had like a 10-year lifespan. I'd say the Xbox One and PS4 get like a 7 to 8 year lifespan before we start wanting something different, something more powerful. But it's always interesting to see and always interesting to talk about.
And Nintendo's gonna do whatever the hell they want.
Well, I mean, Nintendo, they make their profits on nostalgia, and that's what I tell people. Yeah, right. They sell Pokemon, they sell Mario. They've only sold the same like 3 or 4 games forever, but they sell because people are like, I remember that when I was a kid. I want to keep playing it. But Sony's always looking for something new. Xbox, I mean, God bless them, they're trying to find something new. That's why we got.
I don't think Xbox wants to play catch up for too much longer. I think they're going to hit their stride eventually.
I think backwards compatibility is their move to get everyone to like mass upgrade, and I think it's working. The more they do it,
they are selling more.
They're adding more titles, more every month they're adding more titles. Gears of War, the series, is the most like played backwards compatible title series. It's only a good series on there right now, but still, like it's what's getting you to upgrade.
You say what you want, because once Gears 4 comes out, everyone's gonna they're gonna get that.
Is out, so I mean, a lot of people are gonna want to be like, "Oh, I love Gears." My friends are showing me this game that's fun, it's gory, it's violent, it's just a great time.
And it's backwards compatible, so all your games can work. Why don't you just get an Xbox One? We'll play Gears, and you'll be able to play your old games eventually. And people are gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll upgrade now."
That and Xbox is like, our servers on 360 aren't being shut down. You can still play them through the Xbox One on backwards compatibility. So
Snoop Dogg's still pissed about Xbox.
That's a different story for another day. But so I'd say 8 years. Once higher resolution becomes standard is when we start to see something more powerful.
That's good. I like that. I feel pretty similarly about about 4K. Once higher resolutions come up. Here's the thing that I think is really, really interesting. So we have a kind of two different sides here. Actually, multiple different sides. So I'm out of college, right? I'm not in college anymore. I'm working and all that good stuff. I live in Chicago, and I'm an early adopter. where we have for Quincy, you might have to kind of remind me where you are in life in general right now. But I know for Vampire Peaches, still in school, definitely is not an early adopter. I mean, not that you don't adopt technology super early, but it has more to do with the financial thing. $400 is a lot of money. You're not just gonna go drop for. When you had the PS3, you were like, I still got some time with this thing. I'm not just gonna jump off. I've got $400, a lot of money, and I'm about ready to make that jump.
The difference of not working in video game retail anymore. I don't have hookups with PlayStation or GameStop anymore. So I'm like, not everything is discounted for me anymore. I'm genuinely layman on the sidelines, like buying this when everyone else is buying it.
Right. So, and I think that's very interesting. And Quincy, why don't you kind of remind me where you are in life? In general.
I'm still in school as well. I mean, I'm going to med school in a few years, so that's going to be my life in a few years. I might not even have much time for gaming anymore, which I hope.
Med school.
I wouldn't call myself. I hate it. I wouldn't call myself an early adopter, but I will say that I don't wait till everyone else starts buying things. Like my decision is influenced by early adopters. So, like with VR, I'm not going to be the first wave of people to buy it, but I'm going to definitely look into the first wave of people who did buy it.
Yeah, I mean,
decision on what to get it.
That's a good point because obviously you were a laggard. I think that's what we call it, a late adopter, a laggard in terms of the PS3, which is weird, right? I mean, it was like last thing, last chance. You were like, I think I'm gonna go grab this, and then you were like, and then you early adopter for more or less early adopter for the PS4.
Xbox One the moment I had the money for it. Like, so I sold my PS3 to get an Xbox One. I really only got the Xbox One because, like, Halo, the Master Chief Collection. I'm a diehard Halo fan. Say what you want about it. I just love the series. Grew up playing it. So
system seller, right?
Yeah, right. And so I got the console. I got the collection. Then the next thing on my list was the PS4. So I was like, I'll probably wait a few months. So it was really a few months. I had the Xbox for like 2 months before I got a PS4.
Gotcha.
And you also have a 3DS, so you dip your hands in everything.
Yeah, I like to test everything. I don't like to be like brand dependent on one specific console.
Sure.
That's good. Yeah.
Every console has its own things to offer. I mean, Wii U, like they got the tablet, which I think it's like playing on a piece of flatbread. I hate it.
A piece of flatbread. You heard it here, folks. Fat kid, baby seat.
I think they've got like great games. They got great games for friends over. Same with PS4. I think it had a lot of great indie titles, and that's where I really go to like check out indie titles. And I just play Xbox for just with group. I play Gears of War, Halo, Call of Duty, Battlefront. I bought The Witcher 3 on Xbox. It was on sale, and I bought Ori and the Blind Forest. Those are my 6 games I play on Xbox. Those are the 6 games I recommend to everyone on Xbox because I mean, aside from Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is coming out on PS4 and PC this year. There's really nothing else.
I remember you telling me, like, in general, PS4 is a more powerful machine, and you have another core group of friends here. So, like, the majority of like third-party games you buy on PS4 and stuff.
Well, I don't want to necessarily start talking about like everything that we play. I just kind of wanted to jump into everyone's general profile, and the reason that I wanted that is because it shows how we view the console life cycle. Especially Vampire Peaches, you mentioned a lot. You said when everyone's playing it. When you're playing your PS4, everyone down the hall is still playing your PS3 or your Xbox 360, but everyone down the hall is a college student, which makes things really, really interesting, right? And so kind of the reason why I wanted to mention that. And Quincy, again, you're also in school, and you're about to go to med school, which is going to be really interesting. Which means it'll be interesting to even see what kind of gamers are in med school at all. Where for myself, I'm usually surrounded by. I'm not really surrounded by much of anything because I have coworkers. And then there's me in my apartment building. And so I have a tendency to just be online more. And so I kind of am looking at the online presence and the general population, just looking at statistics, instead of, having a group of people that I'm always around, like when you're in college or when you guys are in middle school or elementary school or high school, or for all the viewers and subscribers out there, however you guys are looking at it. And even for college folks, usually you guys are buying your own consoles. Usually, if your family is paying for your college, I shouldn't say usually, but in terms of what I've seen mostly is if your parents are already paying for your college and maybe paying for other things while you're in college, like you're rooming and things like that, if that's even the case, then they're probably not paying for your console and your nights out and stuff like that. Sometimes they are. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes they're not paying for anything. So it's just interesting.
Say
it again.
I was like, what are they playing in med school? Surgeon Simulator?
That's gonna be my final.
Yeah, hey, who knows?
Your final. If you get the kidney transplant in under a minute, go.
But I just wanted to give a little bit of a disclaimer to show people kind of where we all are. I guess I'll give my little 2 cents on life cycle, and then we'll continue on to these other portions. I actually think I have a bit of a this will be interesting, because I think one of two things is going to happen. I don't know the timing. It'll either be, I actually completely agree with Quincy, with either it's going to be, that 8 years, or maybe two earlier, like, so 6 to 8 years. And, but I think the interesting thing is going to be if they're going to do a refresh, if it'll be a high quality refresh. So what I'm saying, or an HD refresh. So instead of just having the PS4, right, the PS4 Slim, if instead they'll have like the PS4 HD or the PS4 4K or the PS4K or something crazy like that, right?
I like that a lot.
The PS4K.
PS4K.
Kind of
Right. It's first, obviously there's some marketing things going on there, but the thing that I think would be interesting is drives are inexpensive at this point. And for a giant tech conglomerate like Sony, though they're not always doing the best right now, getting drives, getting Toshiba, drives or whatever are in our consoles right now, getting a terabyte, even getting 5 terabytes isn't a lot anymore. I mean, you can do that pretty inexpensively. So creating a new PS4 in the same size even, and just having a new drive that has way more capacity, up to a terabyte, maybe, a terabyte or more, and you throw that drive in there, and cloud obviously is becoming a bigger thing, but you throw that drive in there, and then you also add 4K capability, and you don't rebrand it as the PS5. That is either going to happen. Either we're going to have a PS4K, which is going to be weird, and they could possibly screw up everything. They could possibly screw up everything, or
$100 again.
right. Or they'll do a PS5. And the reason I mention this is because I've talked about this a long time ago. Actually, I think I talked about this before I even started YouTubing. Is that there is a contract for Netflix and PlayStation, and I believe in Netflix and Xbox, to have 4K capable consoles, because I definitely remember, because Sony's PlayStation was and may still be the #1 streaming box for Netflix. It was the #1 streaming capable box, and they were like, hey, we're gonna have 4K content, you need to have 4K capabilities. And they were like, okay, and they signed a contract saying that they will have it. I don't think that there were timings on it. I don't think that they said at this time is when we'll have this contract, but we do know that those contracts are signed, which means we know that PlayStation will have a 4K console, which means we know that there will be another console life cycle. We just don't know when, and we don't know if it's going to be called the PS4K. We don't know if it's going to be the PlayStation 5. PS4 is having a really great time right now, and they're really getting up there. And there's going to be the laggards, the late adopters, the mass group of people that are going to start buying it, and people are going to start dropping off. There hasn't even been a price drop for the PlayStation 4 yet, and so there are all these ways they could do it. They could literally just add in a terabyte and just start from there. But we'll see. We'll see in terms of the life cycle. But I think those are kind of my opinions on kind of how maybe this could go. Either a PS5 in 6 to 8 years, or earlier. I'm talking like in 2 to 4 years, we may see a PS4K, and that'll be interesting. So.
Yeah, I think this year of gaming is definitely going to give us that answer. Like this year is. Like I'm sure you've been checking nonstop like the slate of games coming out this year for both PS4 and Xbox.
Of course.
It's looking really powerful. Like it's looking like a lot of great new games are coming out this year. But it's looking like this year probably like how much can a PS4 really handle? How much can an Xbox really handle? And do we really want something more powerful, or do we need it right now?
Right.
Because I don't like 4K is still a premium to me. Like people who have 4K gaming rigs aren't playing that many games at 4K because there aren't that many games out in 4K. People aren't developing for 4K resolution. So, that's what I'm going to stand by. Like, once that's the standard, I feel like But I think 2 years. I think it's a little too early. I think like 4 is probably that number. Is where we'll start to see like a PS4K. I think that might be like where we'll start hearing like rumors about it or something like that. But
PS4K definitely sounds more within the realm of obtainable than a PS5.
This year of gaming is going to probably give us that answer. Like,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, no, yeah, I think that's a good point. I'm like I said, I'm with you 100% with the 4K. I think is when we'll see a big shift. I just think that we may start seeing more in content. Like, I think again, I kind of want to get off this subject, but again, well, we're kind of already going into 4K. But for example, at CES, so CES, the Consumer Electronics Show, they showed a lot of 4K televisions. They also showed 8K televisions. That's crazy. And that's a size thing, right? Like size at a certain size point, 8K makes sense. And when I say makes sense, I mean it makes sense to even have it exist, not to buy it necessarily before it to exist. 4K
TV, let alone an 8K TV.
Well, I mean, well, here's the interesting thing though. When we talk about what can play 4K, what can't play 4K, we now know easily that early adopters have 4K, and 4K isn't expensive. I have a 4K television right behind me, and it was only $400, and that's 50 inches. So you know, we see that stuff coming out, and we see it existing. The issue now is that that 4K content is, we're not just talking about games, and set-top boxes are starting to mesh into the gaming ecosystem. Let me give a kind of an easier explanation. There is the PlayStation 4, there's the Xbox One, there's hopefully the new NX, right? We have the consoles, we have the PC. Now PC is obviously kind of its own thing, and PC is not as big in terms of, you know, how many PC gamers out there are running 4K rigs, right? Like you said, there's not a ton of them, and you actually mentioned Vampire Peaches. You said, like, you know, the standard is 60 frames 1080p. That's not necessarily true. Not the standard is not for everybody to have a GTX 960 in their rig. That's not the standard. That's new. Those are new. So that means all the early adopters have 960 and above, 970s, 980s. Not that you need a 970 to run 60 frames, 1080, 1080 resolution, but that's the iconic standard. That's what everybody wants. But that's not necessarily what everything's running at. People are still okay with 720. I'm not. I can't run 720.
No,
I am. Right. I am, honestly. I'll be okay with it.
What's the Vita? 720?
Yeah, I think 1080p 60 frames is ideal. I wouldn't call it the standard. I'd call it ideal.
But people are still okay with 30 frames. I mean, 30 frames, you're not even really going to notice 30 frames if you're playing a campaign and you're not in some crazy, I don't know, depending on the campaign. But, you know, I mean, it really just depends. But my reason of saying that is we have those things, but then we also have Apple TV, the NVIDIA Shield. We have the what is that? Amazon Fire TV. You know, we have these new, I mean, even Google Chromecast. We have these new things that are doing streaming very well. And soon, not even soon, the NVIDIA Shield already has 4K. Once I'm actually getting a new television, sending that off to my parents. I'm getting a new one that has better 4K quality, basically. And I'm going to get the NVIDIA Shield to start watching 4K content. And the NVIDIA Shield also streams games. And so if I can start streaming my 4K gaming, or if we start throwing more powerful processors and more powerful GPU standards at our set-top boxes, well, maybe we're going to start seeing some competition within the set-top box realm, and someone's going to have to upgrade soon. And I would not be surprised if in 2 years, the Apple TV, which is already a high standard, right? You don't buy an Apple TV unless you already have a really nice television. So the Apple TV users already have 4K, and they start all of a sudden getting weird 4K games or 1080, 60 frame per second games. Might start seeing some rivals, but that's just food for thought. Let's move away from the 4K. Move away from the 4K, the 8K. Let's do the sound check. Does everything sound good on my end? Everything sound good on your end?
Yeah, everything sounds great.
My only thing is, like, do you think consumers will be pressured too soon? Like, let's say
people will feel pressured too soon.
6 months from now, they announce a new console. Like, do you think people will be like, "Well, I just really am getting into a PS4 or an Xbox One. Like, I feel like I haven't really gotten everything out of this yet."
I think the internet is going to be more vocal.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I completely agree. I think people are going to feel, in terms of, like, for example, I think the issue is that Apple, right, is going to do things like Apple has an army, and the second they say new Apple product, all of Apple's Appleites will go out and buy the Apple product. For PlayStation, if they're like, there's the PlayStation and the PlayStation 4K. PlayStation is now $300, and the PlayStation 4K is now $400. The PlayStation 4K can play everything that the PlayStation 4 can, but we're now allowing for 4K streaming, and it comes with a terabyte. So it's not, you don't have to buy it. It's an extra idea. It's kind of the premium edition here. Maybe not. Maybe they'll have an add-on. Maybe they'll have a weird 4K plug-in thing. Hopefully not. Those are always terrible ideas. But at some point, I'm going to want to start streaming. The PlayStation is not going to be my go-to device soon. And that's what I think to be a console means to own the living room. If anyone's going to do it, Xbox One is the one that wants to own the living room. But if Xbox One can't do 4K, then they're missing a lot, because I'm not going to buy my Xbox One to own my living room if it can't even play 4K content, which my Apple TV will be able to do, and the Nvidia Shield can already do. So for a gaming 4K technology enthusiast, the Nvidia Shield is really big for me, but not necessarily. But the PlayStation 4 may also be really big for me, but it's not going to be my go-to for Netflix. It's not going to be my go-to for anything but games, and that's awesome, in terms of gaming. But that's not what they want. They want, PlayStation and Xbox want you to play and do everything on their console. But they might lose out on that. So next topic, and this kind of goes with set-top boxes, is discs. Do we think that the next refresh of console here, whether it be a 4K, PS4K, or maybe just a discless drive or a discless console, do we think that we're going to see Blu-ray once again, or a new standard of discs coming out with the new consoles, or do you think that they're going to start scrapping discs altogether?
That's a very good point, but you and I are in the kind of the separatist realms of that we're over discs. You know what I mean? So like, I'm over it. I'm over the clutter. I'm over the pre-owned market. I'm over all that stuff. And but the thing is, people still hold value in me and like waiting for something to be pre-owned or like lending something to their friends. So again, if they do make the move, I'm horrified, because of course the internet's gonna be like, what happened to discs and stuff like that, because that's what happened with Xbox One. Oh, that's a very appropriate voice for the internet, dude.
That is a good voice for the internet.
Yeah. What do you mean Spider-Man's not the new Civil War trailer? My God, they just want everything. Because you saw what happened with Xbox. Granted, this was the introduction to a new console generation, but when they were talking about, like, Xbox was genuinely looking to the future. You know what I mean? This is what's going to be. This is what the DRM is. Like, this is what we want. And I was like, that's not a bad idea down the line, but it's not what people are prepared for right now. So the question is, are we ready for that now? I was like, well, I think if they get rid of discs, I'm not going to be complaining. But the thing is, that's also very what a company's going to do. You know what I mean? Like, our game's going to be... So that also means, like, pricing for the digital market. Or are they going to keep within the $60 retail stuff, or stuff price going to change? It opens up a lot of questions. So for my answer, I have no idea. But do you have a clue?
That's tough. It's tough to say that we would get rid of discs in its entirety.
Yeah, talk about your relationship with discs.
I mean, I have, like, I don't know. How many PS4 games did I bring with me? Like 7?
Yeah.
I got like 7 PS4 discs with me, but the majority of my games are definitely digital. But, you gotta look at, like, retailers. I mean, Target, Walmart, Best Buy, GameStop, other just retail stores sell games by the disc. And if you just get rid of discs in general, I mean, that's GameStop in general. That's just GameStop. I mean, they might sell you DLC at the store, but they might go out of business, honestly.
Yeah. I don't see GameStop being around forever at all. Yeah. I think they're in the end of the road.
I mean, I think the digital market is definitely on its way, and I think a lot of people are starting to like kind of vibe with the idea of not having to leave your home to get a day one release of the game. You don't have to stand around in a midnight release. You don't have to like. You just if you throw in don't leave your home. People are like, well, that's awesome. I'm not gonna do it.
When Fallout came out, are you kidding me? I was like, the line was out the door.
I don't want to put on pants and have to go to GameStop and get my Fallout 4. I just want to buy it in my living room and just download it day one and just play.
Console gamers are already hopping on to the more like preload culture, right? So they're like, wow, I don't have to go to a midnight release. I can just get this digitally and play it the second midnight hits. Dope. So people are already entering that transition, but discs getting rid of, the common consumer is going to be very confused. It's like, do I buy this, or I probably buy this like I would anything like online or something like that. You're going to have to explain that. There's going to be an awkward year.
And there's slight skepticism of entering your credit card online. I mean, a lot of people don't want to put their information out there online. I know a lot of parents, my parents specifically, were very like, I don't want my credit card saved on your Xbox. I'm like, fair enough. I wouldn't save it on your Xbox.
Because problems have happened before.
You know, and people are like, you know, they're worried about that time, that kind of stuff. You know, so they would rather, you know, buy it from a separate read and buy a disc. They got the receipt in hand, they just leave and, you know, keep it that way. But, you know, it goes on to like, would you stream games or would you just have them digital? Because buying digital takes up hard drive space too, like a lot. Like I upgraded my PS4 to that Hades Black Ops 3 model because I had a terabyte hard drive. So, you know, I know I'm already almost full on that. You know, I bought all my games. I bought most of my games digital. I'm almost out of space, and you know, so I'm like, will you stream or will you have digital or will you have both?
That's a really great turning point. My 2 cents on discs actually is the fact that I'm actually more with Vampire Peaches. I don't know. I think the Michael Pachter again is just, I was watching some of his stuff and he was saying that he thinks that, I mean, here's the matter of the fact is discs sell. They're making money off of discs, so they're not going to stop making discs. You know what I mean? Like, as long as the consumer will keep buying discs, they're never going to stop making discs. The problem is once more and more people start using digital, which we're going to start seeing, because I don't think you want PlayStation doesn't like it. I'm sure Xbox doesn't like it because they're missing money, right? There's a margin that when they sell it off the digital store, they're not making as much, right? I mean, as in not on the digital store. So the more that they really refine their sales tactics, the more that they really start to own the digital space, the more they start getting closer to Steam sales, and they really start doing this pattern, and people start getting excited about digital sales, the more you're going to start seeing less people use actual going out and buying discs and stuff. And with that, I think at some point, people are going to go, well, this isn't worth us selling anymore. It's not worth us owning this brick and mortar store. It's not worth us doing all of this. And the publishers are going to be the ones to do it. You know, EA is going to go, it's not worth me, but, you know, making 1 billion discs and trying to sell them in a GameStop. I'm just going to release it digitally. But it's going to take, I think, a while to get to that point because it's so inexpensive to make these discs at this point, you know? But what Quincy said is that, is it going to be streaming and this digital download is kind of what everybody's used to at this point, right? I mean, Vampire Peaches, you mentioned there's going to be this weird transition.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You would say that again? Sorry.
I own nothing on discs. So when I have people that come over to my room and be like, "Oh, we're gonna play," like, "Here, where do you keep your stuff?" It's like, are they up here because they see a lot of like cases on my shelf? I'm like, no, I don't own a single game on disc anymore. They're like, what? My library. They're like, oh my gosh, wait, that kind of. Okay, I get it. So you don't leave your house and stuff. I'm like, nope. So my friends who are like, I have a big Vita clan at Leslie University, and everyone's buying things digitally because they're like, they never have any Vita games in the store. I'm just gonna buy this stuff digitally. I'm just gonna get another hard drive and stuff like that. Even then, like, people are looking at the way I play games, and those who are playing PS3 and Xbox 360 in my hall, they're like, digital, man. I want to stay here. I want to be able to do my homework. I want to just that convenience is enough for them to like hop onto digital.
Yeah. Right. And so I think I too don't own any discs. And not that I don't like discs. It's not that I don't. What was that?
You own Witcher on disc.
It's not mine. That was the point. I borrowed it from someone, right? I borrowed it. But so I don't own any discs, and it's funny. I don't do it for convenience sake. That's actually a very interesting. I don't do it for having to leave. I love midnight releases. I love getting together with a group of people. I love going to the game. Not GameStop specifically, but I like going to a place to buy games and everyone being there. That is a lot of fun for me. But it's the convenience of having all of my games in one place, just like this thing right here, which I think the majority of us have, which is a phone. And I don't really have to think too much about where my stuff is on my phone. I don't have to make sure my game is working. I don't have to worry about the disc itself. But what is interesting is Instead, you have to worry about your disk space, and you have to worry about, is your internet good enough to stream games? Streaming is not going to take the place of digital games or hardware games, and the only reason I mention that is because the United States is so far behind on the internet front, and we're way too competitive. Call of Duty is not all of a sudden going to only stream because people have lagless monitors to make sure that they play everything 100% correct. On Call of Duty, I mean, they're not going to start streaming. Streaming just isn't good enough yet. We're not in South Korea. Our internet is just not there to start streaming, but to start streaming casual games. Granted, we're not even seeing that yet, really, right? There is no mass adoption. There's not even really a small adoption of streaming games, unless it's your local games. Like if you have a Steam Link, or if you have the NVIDIA Shield, and maybe you're using that GeForce Grid, and you're able to stream games that way from a local standpoint, or maybe even using your PS Vita and your PS4 and using remote play. So there's a little bit of streaming going on, but I don't see us doing. I don't see streaming becoming a really large thing until maybe 2-4 years, when the internet infrastructure all of a sudden changes. But if I have to pay a lot of money to get 42 megabits down, if high-speed internet is still 6 megabytes down, then which is crap for game streaming, then I don't think we're going to see massive streaming for a while. But going back to what I said before, discs, I don't see discs going away because people will still make money off discs, and you get to borrow discs, and there's a whole but a pre-owned market there, and people like that. But I think that was definitely what we mentioned there was pretty good. Is that I think the digital space is definitely getting big, and streaming is going to become a big thing too. And maybe in 8 years, we may see a big change in the infrastructure for the internet. I just don't think so. But really, it depends on how big these titles keep getting. And in terms of size, if we keep around the 50 gigabyte yard line here, for example, Warframe is hundreds of gigs, I swear, because they just keep adding giant updates. But if we stick around the 50-60 gigabyte range, and we start having terabytes or 5 terabyte drives, which isn't all, which is starting to get pretty inexpensive, then maybe this will maybe a more digital lifestyle will work out. But we'll see.
I'm looking forward to when we get old, and when I'm talking to my nieces and nephews, or my great nieces and nephews, hey, great Uncle Peaches. So tell us about gaming you're ready. Back in my day, my console hold only 500 gigabytes. What? That's nothing. We didn't have PSVR 6. No, we had these things called discs. Granddad, I'm gonna be like what? Maybe let's say that I'm 80. I'm gonna talk purposely like that when I'm 80. Yeah. I'm gonna be gaming till my hands fall off, dude. Yeah.
I don't think you may not need your hands when you're gaming. When you're 60 or 80, you'll have a neural implant. Talk about some Sword Art Online stuff right there.
Yeah. My only thing with this is there's also a return market for consumers, and that's your trading credit. Granted, people criticize GameStop for the fact that they'll give you $5 for a game that just came out, but it's
nothing.
a lot of, if you're lucky, a lot of people do trade in games. I got the PS4 by trading in two of my active 360s because they were going on a deal for $100 each, and then my PS4, my white one that I traded in, was going for $250. So I got $450 in credit and got a PS4, and they gave me $30.
That's the thing. We didn't even think about the brick and mortar stores will be
I mean, granted, those were consoles, but I've also traded in games. I traded in a lot of games. I traded in Final Fantasy X, and I got Arkham Knight. I traded in Arkham Knight, and I got Borderlands. So the
market is there, but where people are going to buy their consoles is the question. These brick and mortar stores are going to have to do something to keep up. I don't see
to buy consoles. That's the internet. Amazon. Walmart, Target.
That is very
Yeah, you
true.
could go on Sony and be like PS4. And they pretty much offer it on the front page.
I see the parallel because remember when the PS4 came out, there were people refreshing pages like, oh crap, they don't have any in stock yet.
Yeah, nobody. I mean, again, I shouldn't say nobody, but these are all, you know, it's funny because look at some of the kids in that I play with, Cat Sash Clan, for example, right? These guys are pretty young, and they don't even know. Some of them don't even, you know, the PlayStation 3 is old. PlayStation 3 is old to them, and so they're like, their first console was a PS4, and they got it off Amazon, and then they got all of their games off of the PlayStation Store. Completely digital life cycle. I mean, like completely life cycle, completely digital style, right? Like they have a phone, they just grab their phone and they went on to Amazon and they're like, I want a PS4 and I want these games with it. Maybe, you know, maybe those are their discs. But but I think that Quincy makes a really good point. Is the resale market isn't going to go away super soon, and I think that's where you're going to see that in 4 years. Maybe it will go away soon because the new generation isn't going to do that. Because the new generation and new gamers, you know, game developers and game publishers don't want you to sell your game, right? They want you to keep it and buy more DLC. So they're gonna make games last longer. They're trying to make games last longer, right? They don't want you to play Infamous Second Son and then sell it the next day because you beat it. They want you to play it and then keep it because there's going to be more DLC, an online component, or something. And by the time you're done with it, it'll only sell for $5. And hopefully that'll be a year or two in the life cycle of the game, and then you'll be done with it. Or you'll just kind of forget about it and you'll delete it, and then you can buy it, you know, download it later if you want because you own it, and you'll feel good about owning it, and and maybe you bought it at a cheaper price, you know, and all this stuff. But I think we've not exhausted the topic, but I think we understand how we feel about discs. Discs are, you know, it's complicated. Let us actually, for the viewers and subscribers, I know a lot of you guys are younger, some of you are older. How do you guys feel about discs? Do you use discs? Do you have discs? Are you just buying things digitally? Are you guys just waiting for the time where everything's just like your cell phone, or your smartphone, or whatever, your iPhone, or whatever you guys have? Are you guys just kind of downloading things, streaming things? Are you guys waiting to stream games? Let us know what you guys are thinking in the comment section below. But let's get away from this. We talked about
our childhood and stuff like that. Because remember, back in our day, we had to get the case, put the game in the case. We had to bring our memory card over to our friend's house, and then when the day was over, we go back, we open the case, the memory card's not there. Your whole
like GameCube, the GameCube days.
Exactly. Yep. Those tiny
memory cards. That's a good point. Memory card. You guys, a lot of you probably don't even know what a memory card is. Actually, you don't know what a memory card is. Now that I think about it, if you're 11 or 12 or 13, you probably don't know what a memory card is because the Xbox or the PlayStation 3 stopped memory cards completely. There was no memory system in terms of like transferring your memory system besides a USB. Which why did you need a proprietary card when you could just do it with the USB? And the Xbox 360 was the last one to have these memory cards, proprietary memory cards. And now we can just move them around with it with this universal system of the USB if you're even going to do that, because now you have cloud saves. And so I think having an entire profile up in the cloud and having only your hard game on a console, it may be more of a future comparatively. So maybe having the console and the disc will be the new thing, right? But there's also other things that go into a console, obviously, and this kind of goes into our next subject, the controller, right?
Oh man,
the controllers changed a bit, but not too much, and we're starting to see changes in controllers and kind of these new drastic things. Like for example, the Steam controller. For those that maybe know about Valve and the Steam platform and the PC, the Steam controller has this two touchpads, right? Or one touchpad now. I can't remember if they changed it or not. I think it's one touchpad now. But even so, it's a pretty different, a radically different controller. But the grab my controller now. Yeah. The idea of the controller, right? The idea of the controller being this gamepad idea, it hasn't really changed too much. Sure, we've added a touchpad for the PlayStation 4 at least, but that's, you know, we added a speaker, we added this light bar for sensor tracking. If you have the PlayStation 4 camera, and the Xbox One has that controller hasn't changed at all. We have the Xbox Elite controller, which is just a hardcore elite version, right, of the Xbox One controller. But what do you guys think? I know we already see PSVR.
This monstrosity. That's the Black Ops 3 PS4 controller.
Nice.
It's got personality. It's not what's on the outside.
I don't think it's ugly. I don't think the controller is ugly. I think that the console's a little desired.
Not on the outside. It's on the inside.
But I think we saw the PlayStation Move. We saw the Wii controllers, the Wii U controller being the giant tablet, the piece of flatbread, and like I said, we have PSVR, which is completely different, right? So, what do you guys think is the future of controllers, right? I mean, do you guys think that the next console life cycle, or maybe even just the next controller in general, do you think we're going to see a new controller? Do you think we're going to see a refresh of the Move controllers? Because right now, all I have is this bad boy right here, and do I think we're going to see a new revolution of controllers? What do you guys think?
Man, I really I love the DualShock 4. It's probably my favorite controller, period, because it's so comfortable, it has so much functionality, and like it doesn't matter much. But I really hope we don't stray away at all from that format of controller, because we see what we tried to do when we tried to move and that sort of thing, and it was freaking it was absolutely awful. Like I appreciate that there's stuff like, you know, the Oculus like Move controller, that sort of thing, but I see that being as more of a second choice rather than like a core functionality with your console. In my opinion, I don't think the controllers need to change all that much. I feel like you just need to keep making tiny slight changes, whether it go with how aerodynamic, what's the word? When it's ergonomic, how force responsive like your tools are, and I think if any sort of going to be any sort of revolution with controllers, is that customizability is going to be the main thing.
No, I think Xbox has on it though with the Elite.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
I think the Xbox Elite is the future of controllers, in the sense that, like, you know, you can kind of modify, you can remap you know, your joysticks, how high they are from the base of the controller.
100%
how
agree.
sensitive your triggers are, so on and so forth. I think PS4 should adopt something like that. I don't think they will, because I think their controller is good as it is now. I mean, you know, I don't think it needs to change too much. I don't think it needs to do something radical like the GameCube or like Nintendo's done with like
a new controller every cycle.
Like the triple like handle that is the 64 one to the GameCube controller, which was a little more conventional, to the Wii controller, which is like a motion controller with like a thumbstick.
Why push a button when you can shake a stick?
Then you go to the Wii U, which like I said, has a flat pro, but also has a Pro controller, which is a more comfortable controller. But people still like to cling to the GameCube controller. Like, if I was Nintendo, I would just stick to the GameCube controller. I think those three are identifiable with each brand, and I think those three should be some, like, customizable versions of each controller going forward.
You guys, our buddy Hashling the Slasher, another officer of the SCT, he switched out his DualShock sticks for Xbox One sticks. He's like, I love this. I really wish PlayStation would come up with more customizable controllers, like an Elite version of what Microsoft has. And I'm like, that really brings up an entirely new market, but it's also brings stuff to like professional controllers, like what's the standard controller you're allowed to use and stuff like that. But according to the layman, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to mention something, because that I'm devil's advocate. I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit for you guys. The future of controllers, I would completely disagree by saying that they're going to be more customizable, because the more customizable, the more confusing. And why, for me, yeah, sure. I mean, you just talked about one of your friends that literally took their entire controller apart, bought Xbox One sticks offline, then got them in, took the whole PS4 controller apart and put the Xbox, replaced the sticks because he thought that the Xbox One controller sticks were better. Mind you, a couple years ago, people were freaking out, console war style, about which controller was better. There's no way that the future of consoles is going to be more modular. Or I shouldn't say the future of controllers is going to be more modular. I think that you'll see modularity in controllers, being able to change your parts and stuff, but the Elite controller is sold out, but they didn't sell 5 bajillion units. You know what I mean? You're not going to see, for example, these things already exist. If you go to like Evil controllers or the big one, what's the Yeah, Scuff. If you go to Scuff's not selling billions of controllers. Scuff's selling a good amount of controllers, but they're in a niche platform. They're selling these controllers for $120 a piece. You know what I mean? The Elite controller costs $100-some. You know, this isn't a cheap controller. They're not going to sell every single controller with all these modular parts because that's too confusing. I don't care. I did one thing to my controller. I got these awesome control freaks. I got these control freaks, and I put these on my controller, and that was it. That's it, and that's because I play competitive sometimes Blacklight Retribution, and it's a free-to-play game. But like people that play competitive Battlefield, people that can play competitive Call of Duty, they'll buy a SCUF controller. They may buy some grips or something, but that's the peripheral market. You know what I mean? People want to buy a console, they want to get the controller, and that's it. They don't want more modularity. That may be the future of peripherals. That may be Mad Cats may come out with a new modular controller. SCUF may say, now we're going to come out with the PlayStation 4 Ultimate and PlayStation 4 Ultimate controller, and you're able to change all the pieces, which you're already able to do to some degree with the PS4 4PS or whatever it's called. But this stuff isn't, they already have the Xbox One Infinity, which is another, basically the Elite controller, but SCUF's version. And so people are all of a sudden saying, oh, this new idea of the Elite controller, but that's not new. That's not new. The Elite controller isn't a new thing, and it's for the elite. It's for people that have a lot of money to spend, who want this cool new controller to switch out components, and haven't already honed exactly what they want. So I don't think you're going to see pro players switching to the Elite controller, because they already know what they want. They don't want a whole bunch of modularity. They're going to go to their SCUF controller and get SCUF, especially because SCUF already pays for all of it. But I think a lot of that is marketing stuff. I think
Mark certainly out with the DualShock 4. Everyone was like, "What the heck is that square? What is that? What is this?" You reveal the controller first. So what does that say about the next generation? What are they going to do? Again, it all has to do with like the consoles themselves.
Right, I think you're going to see more of a singular. I think these smaller singular changes. I think again the PS4 now has a very iconic. The DualShock is already iconic, right? The Xbox One controller is very iconic, and I don't think you're going to see a huge change. But what I do think you're going, like as you had mentioned before, is the way that you interact and move within VR. I think that the controller is synonymous to the mouse and keyboard. The mouse and keyboard have not changed. They've tried to change them. People have given different ways to do it. They've given more. We have more efficient keyboards. We already know they're more efficient. We still don't use them. We still use the QWERTY keyboard because people are just used to it and they sell. And so people buy mechanical, QWERTY, wireless, Bluetooth, whatever keyboards because it's what people are used to. And people are going to stick to the controller, I firmly believe. And the keyboard's been out a lot longer than the controller. And so I think that you're going to have more ergonomic controllers with, maybe different small things. Oh, the controller now is 20% lighter, whatever. It now has the light bar is smaller but more accurate. The touchpad is now more sensitive or something like that. I don't think you'll see many more gimmicks come out because you're starting to lose real estate on the actual controller itself. But I think the future of controllers is the Move controllers. The way that you interact in VR, the way that you interact with, like the 6-axis that exists on the PS4 or the PS3 controllers, the DualShock 3s and the DualShock 4s, but all of those new things. The PlayStation Move, what are they going to do to that? The Oculus Touch, I think that's what it's called. The HTC Vive's touch controllers. How are we going to move within those spaces? I think that's really the future. I think that if there is a PS5 or an Xbox 2, I think that you'll
Xbox. Yeah.
Who knows, right? But I think you're going to get the console itself, a very slim disc port, a ton of hard drive space, tons of power. It's going to be pretty small. And then you're going to have your one controller that comes with it, probably your camera, your PlayStation Eye or whatever, your PlayStation camera, your Kinect or whatever, which I haven't heard much about the Kinect recently, now that I think about it. And obviously your HDMI, your DVI or whatever is going to be the next 4K standard for plugs for visual stuff. And then you're going to have a whole separate thing for VR. And so I think that is going to stay pretty normal with VR. How do you think we're going to interact with VR in terms of controllers? Do you guys think that this is going to be the standard? Or do you think we're going to have different standards of being able to move around and do things? Do you think it'll be, let's just stick with PlayStation. Do you think that we're going to have the Move controller again, or do you think we're going to see a refresh?
There's going to be, I think it's going to be a little bit of A, a little bit of B, in the sense that once we get VR, it's all about the early adoption thing. We're going to have controllers first. being able to understand like the space in general and have to understand the headset before anything. So I think we're going to have the DualShock 4 with the VR for a decent amount of time, but I think Move is going to be completely redone. Like you see people use the light sticks and stuff like that in demos and stuff, but I think it's going to make a few changes. I haven't really thought about it that much because I've been thinking too much about the headset. Maybe you have a separate opinion because I personally have no idea.
No, I just think that controllers will probably stay the same. I mean,
maybe the touch controllers will be the big thing.
I think they'll just return, just refocus their efforts and like make their controller as responsive as possible, and just for like the competitive games, like the Call of Duties or like the games that require fast reaction time and stuff like that. As far as VR goes, I mean, you really can't play it for too long. They recommend you don't. Like,
right.
You can't really do an all-day gaming binge on VR, but you can do an all-day gaming binge on sitting down in front of your TV.
So what do you think about the controllers then? Like,
I think the controls will probably be like hands-free for VR. I think it'll be I think VR might be hands-free, honestly, at some point. But
like Kinect, like you think instead of having an actual controller in hand, you think it'll be like.
I think they're looking to get rid of a need for controllers when it comes to VR. I think they just want you to put the headset on and just go.
I would love that, but again, we're thinking about what's the immediate thing.
Immediate? I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
I actually that's not a bad theory. The Kinect already allows you to not use controllers. I mean, it's fairly good at it. And with
the HoloLens, which they're making right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I think I wouldn't be surprised if you see that. I think that with a controller you have more input, and so I do think you will see a controller. I wouldn't be surprised if you had a game for PlayStation VR that says put your controller down, or like put the controller down on a surface and let us calibrate your hands. I don't think that the PlayStation camera actually has that. I don't know if the PlayStation camera is that strong. Honestly, I just don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see both. I actually don't think you may see a refresh of the Move controller. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think that you really will. The reason I'm saying that is because the technology behind the Move controller is actually really high end and works very, very well. And especially when you already have the two light ball things or whatever, and they're already pretty comfortable. I remember when I used to use one, and I think that instead of having like a huge change, I think you'll use either the DualShock 4, your hands, or the Move controllers. And the Move controllers are now really inexpensive, and that may be actually a really great way to get people to adopt. Is to say, hey, you and your friends can all, grab these sticks and start playing around,
peripherals, but they're super cheap. That's smart because people are already intimidated by the new hardware. They're like, do I need more controls with this? And you're like, yeah, you do. It's super cheap. And they're like, oh, okay, sure.
Right. I mean, they may not. You may be right. They may completely redo it or not. But I can see them saying it comes with one, and then you may need to get a second one, or maybe it does come with two. But if it comes with two, it's going to be a lot more expensive. I think that's when you're going to start seeing our prices jump for VR. But this isn't a VR discussion. This is a future of consoles discussion. I think we talked about discs, 4K controllers, and I think we kind of all came to the same consensus that the controllers are going to change too much, but VR may kind of change that. Next, just a kind of a quick one. We don't really have to spend too much time on this. Cables, just cables in general. Right now, we're using HDMI and a power cable. We're using USB. What do you guys think? I'll get started just because I think I'm the most technology. I'm the most. I guess I know the most about technology in general, maybe not gaming, but I think that we're going to see a change, depending on where we are. USB Type-C is a pretty big thing. For those that don't know what that is, that's this. I have the what is this? This is the Nexus 6P, and you guys can see that this is the reversible USB Type-C port, and it's just two of the same type of cable thingy. Anyway, the MacBook Pro has it, the newest MacBook Pro, and all that good stuff. But it's basically a new USB standard, and I could see that being in the next one. I don't think we're going to see it in the next, I don't think a new controller is going to come out and we're going to have the USB Type-C. But in terms of power, I don't think that's going to change. We're not going to change the power infrastructure anytime soon. In terms of display, maybe we'll have a new HDMI by that point. Maybe not. Who knows? But I think that this is the kind of stuff that's really interesting because we don't know what the standards of cable, we don't know what that's going to change. We mentioned a couple things changing. 4K is here, right? 4K is coming in a big wave, but it's already here. And we were like, yeah, we could see that maybe coming out for 4 to 6 years or something, being some sort of change. Discs, like, yeah, those are a big thing right now, but a lot of people are going to start adopting more digital stuff, right? VR is a big thing. And now cables, there's even a big change with USB Type-C. If USB Type-C becomes the standard in 2 to 4 years, and we're still using USB, 2.0 or 3.0 for our controllers, we start to see the PS4 and the Xbox One start to lag behind, especially if we start using new methods for visual methods, right? Visual and audio. If we're not using the HDMI anymore, maybe we're using the new DisplayPort technology, or maybe we're using USB Type-C, which USB Type-C can actually transport power, sound, and visuals, and so we could use USB Type-C for everything. So it would be really interesting to see how all that plays out. You guys may not actually have anything to say about this, but if you do, what are you guys thinking anything particularly about maybe new standard of cables?
I mean, the only thing that I can really think of is that, like, I'm thinking there's going to be an influx of additives in terms of how we charge our controllers. Like, so, like, we already have things where you, like, put your phone on the block, it charges. I was like, I could see that for, like, a DualShock or, like, another controller. But yeah, I have a couple charger stands, but nothing that, put the controller on the block, it's charging.
Wireless, you're talking about wireless Qi charging, like a wireless charger, and you just put the phone on top of it. Yeah, I could definitely see that being integrated into a controller.
But other than that, I don't think I really have an idea for, like, the standards, just because I'm not, like, that technically savvy. But what about you? I think I completely agree with what Jane's saying.
I definitely agree. But, I mean, it's like, how much can you really change of what's going on now with the cables? I mean, yeah, the Xbox still has that brick that they have for their power cord. You plug in, comes with the brick. You plug in the other one, then it goes to the Xbox. Whereas PS4 just has the linear cable from the outlet to the console because their power source is inside the console. I think maybe the newer Xbox might, put the power source in the console, get rid of that brick you have to, like, fit behind your entertainment center, behind your TV. I got that tucked away right behind the entertainment center. Like, that brick is, like, it kind of peeks out, but, like, it kind of holds it in place a little bit. So it's got a little handy feature to it. But I really don't see cable changing. I don't see I don't think people like change that much. It's like, if they came out with a new cord, and you had to get rid of all, like, I have maybe 5 micro USB. So I mean, if they came out with a new cord and I had to get rid of all my micro USBs, I'm like, well.
Yeah, devil's advocate again. Two standards that have already changed. The micro USB took over the mini USB, which was all of my cables for the PlayStation 3, every single cable I had for the PlayStation 3, and all of my phones before. I don't know. Well, not that many phones, but PlayStation 3 and a lot of my computer peripherals ran on micro or mini, and I just recently got rid of all of those and replaced them all with micro, which is funny because now I have a USB Type-C. But if you're an Apple user, you're not worried about any of that. You're just using all Lightning cables.
Complete torture.
So it's one of those things where you're right. I completely agree with you. I don't see PlayStation being like, we're gonna change all the cables and make them I just completely forgot the word. Proprietary cables, right? I don't see them being like, yep, we're gonna make everything complicated and confusing for all of you and change all the cables, but they have to roll with the industry standard, right? If all of a sudden USB Type-C will be the new standard in 2 years. I have no question, no doubt about that. All new phones have USB Type-C. Every single phone that you've heard about now and later is going to have USB Type-C. I mean, that is just the case. Computer cases are already coming out with USB Type-C. All laptops are mostly coming out. All the new ones, at least, are coming out with USB Type-C. You're going to see probably the next wave of set-top boxes come out with USB Type-C, with these tiny ports that can basically do everything. And so at some point, the only thing that's going in my apartment, the only thing that's going to be running off of micro USB is going to be my controller, which is going to be annoying at some point, right? Not that it's a huge deal, right? It's not going to matter. I mean, there are proprietary cables all the time, especially, like I said, if you're an Apple user, you're already using one Lightning cable. Granted, I think they're getting rid of Lightning cable and using USB Type-C, but we'll see. But yeah, and I think same with the HDMI. I don't think they're going to get rid of the HDMI cable. I think they'll probably upgrade the HDMI cable. But with USB Type-C, you may see some sort of adaptation of an HDMI that's reversible, or you may see something along those lines. They may start using DisplayPort. Who knows? So. But just another small thing I kind of wanted to throw in there. Cables is something that comes up, but I think something that's more interesting that I think this will probably be. We already talked about streaming. There are three more topics. We'll go through these pretty quickly. Let's start with multimedia. We kind of already spoke about this a little bit, but the PlayStation 4, I hook up my PS4 to my big television. I was using my PS3 mostly, but I hook up my PS4 to the big television. I'm playing some games. Maybe somebody comes over, wants to Netflix and chill. I gotta throw up some Netflix, right? I gotta throw up some Netflix. So what do you guys think is kind of we've already saw a huge lag for the PlayStation. The PlayStation had a huge, terrible lag when it came to giving us content for multimedia. We finally have a media player. We finally have, for the enthusiasts, we finally have Plex. Who knows? Maybe we'll get something like Kodi soon. Probably not. Again, for those enthusiasts out there, we have Funimation, we have Crunchyroll, we have Crackle. Finally, we're kind of back up on this media bandwagon here, where we're able to watch all the media that we're looking for. We have the media player in terms of music as well. Great integration with Spotify. Say that again.
Spotify is a huge thing. That's a huge deal.
Yeah. The Spotify was a really awesome integration. I'm not a huge music listener. I don't listen to a ton of music when I play video games. But when friends come over, if I can do everything through my PS4, I do. And so what do you guys think? Next generation of consoles. What do you think is the kind of the change for multimedia? What do you think is a big? Are we going to see a big change or not? Again, I'll go first once again, real quick, just to give a short explanation of what I think. As I had mentioned before, set-top boxes are really big, and set-top boxes I think are going to become the biggest challenge for consoles. The second Apple wants to get serious with gaming. The second Amazon wants to get even more serious with gaming. The second Nvidia really wants to take their shield to the next level. The second these guys just pull the switch, if Google even creates they have the Nexus player, but if any of them say, no, we're ready to make big strides, they can go to EA. Any of them could go to EA or Ubisoft and say, hey, we want your next big game to be on our console. And they'll go, oh, shoot, why not, right? Why would they say no? And so that's what I think is going to be really interesting, is having these set-top boxes become big rivals. But right now, these set-top boxes are used for multimedia. And so
like 30 years ago when we had the Commodore 64 and all these other weird gaming platforms and stuff, when an introduction of the first consoles and stuff like that. I can honestly see history repeating itself, hopefully without the big gaming collapse. But I do agree with you in the sense that I think the consoles have to do it. The next consoles have to be a multimedia hub, because I remember the PS3, if I could do it on my PS3, I did it on my PS3. Stored my music, stored my movies, stored everything and stuff. So moving on to the PS4, and you and I were like, where can I store my media? Where is it? So
I hated that.
It was so annoying, because I was like, I want to have my movies on here. I want to be able to have, granted, streaming does all that for me, but there's stuff that I generally want to store. I just got the Star Wars Despecialized editions, right? And so, Casey was like, I can't wait to watch them. I can't, my girlfriend, she, every time we want to watch movies together, we go to my place, we load up Netflix on my PS4 and watch my big television together. Every time we listen to music, we're doing homework, what do? I load up Spotify on my PS4. Many people look at the Xbox One and be like, yeah, the entertainment system, it takes over the living room. That's what I want in an entertainment system. I'm like, that's going to have to be the standard for these next consoles if they're going to compete with your top box theory. Because, that just has to be the standard. I want to be able to do everything on my PlayStation. That's my personal opinion, though. I don't know about you.
I think it's too late to go backwards. I think if you were to not have it, you'd be going backwards. I'm waiting on HBO to come to PS4, because right now, when I watch Game of Thrones, I gotta switch to my Xbox and watch HBO on there. But,
damn it!
Yeah, that's annoying. That's annoying, but it is what it is. But and it's you can stream sports. I watch sports a lot. I watch a lot of football, a lot of basketball. I stream them both on my consoles. I watch a lot of a lot of HBO shows, a lot of Netflix shows, but I just think if you didn't have them, you'd be going backwards. Like, well, what do I do now? Do I now have to pull out my computer and go on Netflix?
Yeah, because even then with the Wii U, people are using that like gamepad and be like, I'm gonna watch Netflix like this.
I mean, it's so really. It's so like integrated into this like generation of consoles that I think you just have no choice.
Yeah,
I really don't think.
That's good. I completely agree. I think at this point, whatever you have has to do everything, right? My phone does everything, and it's my go-to device for when I'm mobile, right? When I'm out and about and doing things, then this device, which does everything, is my go-to. And it's really my daily driver for all technology stuff every day. When I'm sitting down at my workstation, my computer, it does everything. There's nothing it can't do, right? And when I sit down at the living room, whatever is owning that space, that's the battle, right? That's the battle. At this point, we already know what runs what runs your life, usually is your phone. Maybe you have a secondary tablet. Then you have work, right? And that's going to be your laptop or your computer, your desktop, right? They already own that space. But there's still this battle for the living room that isn't over yet. And there are so many players: Google, Apple, Amazon, Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft. Like, there are just so many guys out there who are trying to take your living room, and it's difficult. And no one's doing it 100% yet. No one has, gaming and streaming and all multimedia support and allow you to use your computer, because people are even trying to get, people build computers for their televisions. They make these little these small computers, right, to game on, to watch media on, and so most of the time that's the best way to do it, because you can literally do everything with a computer. And so I think you guys are completely right. I think it's too late now. You can't go back. And it'll be interesting to see the future of the PlayStation 4 itself and how it starts to integrate more multimedia. I think that PlayStation TV, that whole idea, I don't know how well that's doing. Personally, I don't think that was a great idea. I think they should have just went with Sling TV or something. I think they should have just used something that already exists. But they're doing what they think is correct. They're doing what they think is right, and so we'll see what works there. But yeah, I think that was a pretty good wrap up for multimedia. But sticking with kind of the online atmosphere, we talked about streaming, we talked about multimedia, online in general, online capabilities. Being able to play online, being able to use PlayStation Plus, being able to use the PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, whatever Nintendo's online presence is called.
Nintendo Online. There you go.
Is that what it's called? Nintendo Online?
We might as well be.
But like, what is it actually called?
I don't think anyone knows.
I don't know. Sony does, but Nintendo don't.
I don't think Nintendo knows. I think they just say play online.
Wow. Yeah. Ooh. Let us know in the comment section below.
Yeah. I mean, with Smash, it's just like play online for glory.
They don't have any sort of like a name or like set community and stuff.
No.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, I just kind of want to know in general what you guys think the future of online play is going to look like. I think PlayStation's already got a really awesome ecosystem. You're able to, obviously you have all your friends. They're trying to add all of these things, like the community aspects. I don't really think they're working out very well. I think they were these added on things. You're able to follow people, but what's the point of following? You're able to look at these events, but there aren't many. The adoption isn't very high. There's all of these online ideas, but there's also share play, which is awesome. There's also remote play, which is awesome. What do you guys think? How do you think that this is going to start changing? Streaming obviously is a thing. You can now ask people to watch their content. I was actually asked the first time to stream the other day. Someone was like, "Hey, can you show us this game?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, why not?" So what do you guys think? Do you think we're going to see a big change? Is there anything that you'd like to see with the PlayStation 4 in terms of online content?
I mean, like, here's the easy thing. The only reason why we had like an SCT community thing because we want to be able to keep all of our stuff in one place, in the sense that when we're online, the one thing that I love about the new feature, I don't like the communities in themselves, but I like the idea of having the people that I predominantly play with in a single place, chat and party, go to the group, add everyone that's on the group. I don't need to see anybody else, because there are a lot of people adding me. Thank you guys for adding me and sending me friend requests and stuff. It's very appreciated that you listen and care enough that you want to have me in your friends list. But again, just seeing like those 6 or 7 names, being able to add them quickly because they're part of the SCT, that's just so phenomenal to me. But like, we don't go to the community page. We'll share a screenshot every now and again, but it's easier to just message people that you want to see it. We don't really post in the page at all. So the thing is, what is Sony thinking? What do they want us to do with these pages? Do they want us to talk about stuff? Like,
no, I think what they want is probably for us to just reach out. I mean, I myself am very introverted, so I kind of hop on and play. Like, I don't even look at the aspect of online gaming. You know, I'm kind of just like, I just get on and just play. You know, I'll check my friends. I kind of do it old school, like Xbox Live style. I'll check my friends list, see who's on, and you know, I'll just invite you accordingly. But you know, I haven't really done much. I don't think I've ever posted on any like community wall. Like, I know Brandon added me, you added me, but I've never really posted anything on there because I really don't know. Like, I really don't know what I would say. Like, well, I feel like a lot of people are in the same boat. Like, well, how do I add to this conversation? Like, I got here late. It's like, I got here mid-conversation. What am I going to say?
I think that's actually
here to access people on our friends list and get everyone quickly. If we're not using it for a community basis.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because if we look back, especially for PlayStation users, because it's totally different for Xbox users. Xbox original, right? People had, you know, the original Xbox. People were already in parties, and it was so weird to me. I remember I was playing my GameCube. I think I was playing this RPG. I can't remember the name of it. I don't know what it was, but I'm playing a single player GameCube game, right? I also probably had my PS2 at the time. I was probably playing Kingdom Hearts or something. And I go over my friend's house, and he's got Halo running, and he's playing Halo, and he's just talking. And I'm looking at him like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "What are you talking? I'm talking to my friends." Like, what do you mean you're talking to your friend? You're playing Halo. What are you doing? What do you mean you're playing Halo? Sorry, Halo campaign. He's playing the Halo campaign. He's talking to his friends. I was like, "Why are you doing that? How are you doing that? And why are you doing that?" He's like, "I'm on Xbox Live, dude." And I was like, "What is Xbox Live?" And it's funny because it didn't happen until PlayStation 4 is when PlayStation 4.
Completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
PlayStation 4.
And only worked occasionally.
Well, hold up. PlayStation 4 comes, and all of a sudden, someone adds me into a party. This is the first time ever I get into a party and no one's playing a game, or people are playing separate games. And I'm sitting there, I'm playing Infamous Second Son, and I'm like, "What's up, guys?" And they're like, "Nothing much, man, just playing games." I'm like, all right. Well, I'm gonna head out because I'm trying to play Infamous Second Son. Oh, cool, we just added you in the party. No. I'm playing Infamous Second Son. Leave me alone. And I left. It was so weird. People who play Xbox, not all of them, but have this tendency to be like, well, I'm online and I want to play games and my friends are online. And it's so weird. I've never even thought about it. It's funny because it's not weird. It's been around since the original Xbox up to the Xbox One now. But PlayStation just hopped on board. Nintendo, I don't think is on board. But PlayStation 4 just got on board to this party at any time system. And it's really, really interesting because it's changing the landscape, at least for PlayStation 4 or PlayStation users, hardcore PlayStation party, or PlayStation users in general. And so these new things are really interesting. The community pages, I'm part of a couple community pages, and some of them are pretty interesting. Sometimes, for the Uncharted one, for example, they'll post things about Uncharted. I think the issue is that there's not enough stuff, there's not enough rules, there's not enough things you can set up yet. Because my issue is for Chain Gear Gaming, it's just a hassle to go on to Chain Gear Gaming, the community, and post every single time I have a new video. It's just annoying. Like if they had an app, right? If they had an integrated app where I could just easily copy and paste or share my video to the Chain Gear Gaming community page, because a lot of people watch my videos on the PlayStation 4. They'll go to the PlayStation 4 and open up YouTube and watch it there, which is cool. But that integration isn't all there, and so I think in terms of small communities like the Catfish Clan or the self-esteem team. We're a group of friends. You're right. I don't use the community page for Cat Clan. I don't use it at all, actually. Most of the time I just forget. And instead, I just use the chat. And usually, you're right. I click on the chat and I just go and I open up all the people and I'm like, I only want to talk to the Cat Clan right now. Or I just open up a chat and I say, I just want to talk to Vampire Peaches and the Ballistic Phoenix and let's just play this game real quick, right? But in terms of these community pages, I feel like they're missing something, and I think the future of the community pages will be to be able to do more with them. But in the following features, maybe adding statuses or something. I'm not really sure. Again, what the whole following thing is about. That seemed a little worthless to me. I followed people and then I never did it again. Maybe it was just for trophies. I'm not really sure. It sparked a little
more trophies of Mark Cerny and Neil Druckmann. Get at me. No, what's the point in that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what was up with that. But otherwise, in terms of new features, is there anything else that you guys think could happen with new features for the PlayStation 4 and online stuff?
I think the PS4 already has a leg up in the sense that, maybe we'll be playing, in terms of SCT, was pretty much like a friend community, but it's also basically a trophy hunting deal. You, me, Worldwide Samurai will be playing Fallout 4 and be like, hey, can you play share with me and show me where this bobblehead is? Or can you play with me real quick so you can go underwater so I don't have to? Or show me how this works, show me your settlement and stuff like that. There's already that kind of just play share changed everything. And I think that's if PlayStation continues to refine that, increase the amount of time you can play share with someone, or increase the functionality of you being able to play games through that system, that's all I want. I don't need the communities just extend on PlayShare and that idea, because it's already hit with people. People are loving it. With my friends who own Xbox One or Xbox 360, you're like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, well, I'm uploading this video. Or I'm like, oh, my friend is playing my game right now. I'm like, or I'm watching my friend play this thing and I'm telling him what to do. Or I'm playing a boss fight with someone. People are like, what the heck? How do you do that? And I'm like, PlayShare, PS4, we got it. So that's all I want to see extended to wrap that up.
Gotcha. Anything else with you, Quincy?
No, yeah, I think it's cool where it is right now. I think there's some ideas that both Xbox and PS4 can kind of take away from each other. To be honest, I think if PS4 could be a bit more multimedia, I think if they can get the same type of apps that Xbox has, they already have a few. But I mean, for me specifically, HBO. I'm not sure if PS4 is Twitch. I think they do, but if they don't, I want them to get Twitch because I watch a lot of Twitch gaming. But I would like to see Xbox get a share play as well.
Is it time for crossover multiplayer, or do you think we should just stay within our islands?
I think the crossover multiplayer would be interesting, but I don't think it's effective.
No thanks.
I don't think it's effective.
It's not gonna happen, man. It's not gonna happen. I'm telling you.
It would be interesting. I don't think it'd be effective. I just think the servers are too different.
We get annoyed when we play with PC users on Rocket League. I don't think we can.
It's not gonna. I mean, there's already an issue when you have PC playing with PS4 or PC playing with Xbox One, because there's the inherent issue of someone using a controller versus someone using the preciseness of a mouse and a keyboard. That is an issue. Period. You cannot have. There's Dust 514, a free-to-play shooter on the PS4. You were able to use a mouse and a keyboard, which a lot of people didn't know, which is completely unfair for sniping. I mean, it's just not fair, and it's just a lot of issues with that. So I don't see cross server. The only cross server that would be fair is PS4 and Xbox One. But why would they do that? Because now there's no reason. It doesn't matter, right? It's all of a sudden there's this granted they'd have to open up the vault of, this is our server, this is your server. Yeah. We have to make sure they work together, and there's a whole bunch of secrets up in there. So
yeah. I think individuality is probably what's going to keep them apart. You don't want to.
Agreed.
It doesn't really matter. If it doesn't matter what console I buy, well, I'm just going to go with the cheaper one.
Yep.
And then there's going to be well, yeah, now I got to make my console cheaper, and I don't want to do that.
Yep. And we don't want Lizard Squad attacking one thing.
I'm just glad to see Sony finally implement the party system. And I've noticed that both of you do not do parties the same way that I do parties on Xbox.
No, because I'll be bye.
You just leave, and I'm like, But the way I played it always on Xbox, it didn't really matter what you were playing. If my friends saw me online, they didn't invite me to the party. I'll be playing Skyrim, two people playing Call of Duty, someone's playing 2K, we're just talking.
No, 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 no! I hate that. I mean, it's cool. I actually a feature. I'm actually going to do a video, not a series, but a video about what just kind of what would be cool to see, kind of like top 5 features to add to PlayStation. And one of them is an offline, of the ability to choose what your status is online. Just like if you're on like anything like Skype or something, you're able to say I'm offline, I'm online, I'm available, I'm inactive.
On Xbox, I do it sometimes on Xbox as well. You can set your status to busy, which turns off notifications. You can set your status to offline. You can set your status to online.
Yeah, we'll say that for the video then.
And I'm just honestly surprised that PS4 doesn't have some of those features.
Yeah, that'll be nice to have those, especially for those online features. So we have one more topic left, and we went through the majority of them, and actually we mentioned this one a couple times, but I think this one is a pretty big one, and I think this is the one that a lot of people think we're going to see a lot of change, and that is mobile. Do we think that we're going to see a change in how mobile is going to interact with our consoles? And there's a couple different ways to look at this. Obviously, again, there's your phone itself, right? The PlayStation has a PlayStation app, which is pretty terrible, but it also has the PlayStation Messenger app, which is actually pretty good, as long as you know how to turn off notifications. The PlayStation Messenger app is pretty nice, but there's nothing really else that we can use in terms of mobile. And then obviously there is the Wii with the Wii U and the Wii U gamepad, and that's obviously a huge game changer. There's also the Vita and different ways to play mobily. And so with the new console, do we think we're going to see these additions? Do we think we're going to see a new mobile ecosystem? There's talks about how Nintendo is, we already know that they're starting to get more mobile games out as a publisher. And that's a big deal. PlayStation itself also has some mobile games out as well. Run Sackboy Run is one of them. Classic, for those that know, but of course no trophy support, so what's the point? With the PlayStation Vita and all these things, what do you guys think we're looking at in terms of mobile in its entirety, in terms of mobile ecosystem, mobile peripherals? What do you guys think?
To keep it extremely brief, because we're heading on the 2-hour mark, so for mobile, for me, I think PlayStation Share and PlayStation Party are going to integrate their way into mobile somehow. Because Jim, how he messages the SET is that if he's out, he's on his phone and he's messaging us. Be like, hey, I'm going to be home in 10 minutes, let's play something. Or, hey, what do you guys think of this thing real quick? So also, can you imagine be like, hey, where are you right now? I'm like, I'm at home just chilling. It's like, okay, can you help me with something? Here, let me load up the app and let me watch your stream. Like, let me watch your play share on my phone. Let me hop in the PlayStation Party on my phone just in case you need me and stuff like that. Because I don't see it being any different from like some sort of like additive like Skype or like Google Hangouts like on your phone. I see no difference, and I can see it being a very big thing. I don't think the Vita is gonna the Vita is just gonna cling in there on the kind of like the sidelines. I don't know. I don't think PlayStation's gonna do another handheld. I think the Vita's just gonna be here a long while. But that's about it. PlayStation Share Play, PlayStation Party on mobile, and that's about it. Like maybe streaming to mobile, but that's weird. Like, but then that's me.
I don't know. I just think the apps, the Xbox One Smart Glass, the PS4 app, they're in the beginning stages. I think they're still trying to feel it out.
People download stuff on their phones. Like, I'm gonna download this game.
I bought already the Blind Forest on my Smart Glass app for like $10. But I mean, like they're okay. They're getting better. I mean, they update them. They're definitely better than they were when they first started.
Yeah.
Some games use the apps. I know Dead Rising 3 used the interactive map with the app, with the Smart Glass app.
Pip-Boy crap on Fallout 4.
Yeah, that's really the battery though. But it's like I think they're still kind of working their way. I think they're still trying to feel their way around it, trying to feel what it can do.
Like, how can we progress this from like seconds?
I think it might just stay that way. Honestly, I think games might just be like, they might do with Dead Rising. They just make it kind of interactive on your phone. Like, you might be able to do something on or offline on your phone. But I mean, how many people are really doing that? Because that does like drain the battery.
Yeah, it does.
So it's kind of like I don't know. I think they might just make it more responsive. I think they might just make it like a better overall experience. But I think they might keep it the way it is.
Yeah, I think that's those are good, definitely good things to pinpoint. And I'm definitely more with Quincy. I think that or not more with Quincy, but I agree with what you were saying. I honestly think that they're in their beginning stages and they need to separate. They need to separate the PlayStation Messenger app let messaging do what messaging does. Let a group of developers sit down and work on the PlayStation Messenger app, daily, weekly, whatever, like let them, figure out bugs, let them work on this application and let it become something that's real, a real messenger application. People really, I don't mind having another messaging application. The problem is they tried to integrate it with this larger PlayStation app, and the PlayStation app itself is just bad, like they need to have the PlayStation Messenger app can have you can have friends, parties, voice chat, all of that kind of stuff in it, and it allows you to do all of those things that you can do on the PlayStation, and it just combines it all in a really nice place, and I think that would be awesome, but they're not giving it the love and attention that it needs. In terms of second screen play, let the games do that, let the developers figure that out. Why I don't know why, if all of a sudden we want Killzone, the new Killzone has a new map feature, let them figure it all out. Why you're not a developer, PlayStation, you're not, you do you, take the ideas that you have for the console itself, share play, remote play, all that stuff. Remote play is going to have its own application, I'm sure. I mean, we already know that it's coming out for PC. I'm sure they're going to have one for mobile. I don't see why they wouldn't. It doesn't make any sense for them not to really allow us to play our PS4 anywhere. Oh, that's gonna be crazy. They're gonna be like, they're gonna call it, for the players everywhere and everyone or something. They'll make up some random, thing jingle for it.
As a community around the world, they're going to put it on multiple screens everywhere.
I just need Andrew House everywhere, man, promoting everything. I need him and Mark Cerny to high five on stage like PS4K. Here it is.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like that's hopefully will be the change that we want to see. But you guys all, viewers, subscribers, you guys grew up with this stuff. You guys grew up with mobile. You guys grew up with having phones and stuff. What do you guys want to see? Do you guys want to see one app, one giant PlayStation app that has everything involved in it and it's just perfect? Would you rather see a couple different separate apps? For example, I would love to have a PlayStation Store app, just the PlayStation Store app. So when I want to go on the PlayStation Store, I just want an app that allows me to go on it and just do it. And I want it to be perfect. And I want it to be updated whenever it needs to be updated, aside from everything else being updated. Because I want everything to just work. So whatever makes it work, that's what I want. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section below. We talked about a lot today. We talked about a lot of different things with the future of consoles. We talked about the life cycle. Say that again?
This is a phenomenal episode.
Yeah, this is a lot of good stuff. We talked about the life cycle. We talked about 4K. We talked about discs, controllers, cables, mobile, streaming, multimedia, online capabilities. And we'll see if any of this stuff comes true. We'll see. I mean, we've got a lot of time, but I think the reason that one of the reasons we did this episode is because we want to kind of look into the future, because we want GearCast to be all the way up until the PlayStation 5 comes out or until the console dies, with either or. We want to be there for all of that because we're going to be around as long as gaming is around. So we just wanted to talk to you guys about that, give you guys this cool episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Any last remarks from anybody? Quincy, of course, thank you so much for having you on this episode. This is our first time that we've done had a guest, and so it's great to have you on the show, Quincy. Hopefully we can have you on again, whether it be because you're in the same area as Vampire Peaches, or maybe we can even get you on just using Google Hangouts like we're using now. But any last remarks that either of you guys have before we get going?
I don't know. Round of applause for Fat Kid BBC being our guest. Yay!
Yeah, that's my name on PSN.
Yeah.
Fat Kid BBC. Not that fat in real life, but
It's also not a baby.
Yeah, I'm also not a baby. Well, but it's all right. Yeah, but yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. It was very fun. I think I said everything I needed to say, so I'm good to go.
Great. All right. So, as always, guys, my name is Chain Gear. That you guys can find me on PSN. Vampire_Peaches. That's where you can find this guy. And then, as he said, Fat Kid Baby C. It's all just Fat Kid Baby C, right? There's no underscores or anything.
No, just straight.
Right.
Up.
Fat Kid Baby Seat. Yeah. baby seat, black kid in front of it. And then again, Vampire_Peaches and Chain Gear. Go ahead and find us on PlayStation Network, guys. Again, if you ask us to be friends with you, please leave us a message telling us that you saw GearCast, that you're interested in playing a specific game, and that would be pretty awesome. Otherwise, that's it, guys. Like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, subscribe and share for more awesome Chain Gear gaming content. That way everybody can know about it and you guys can be aware as well. Otherwise, that's it from me, and that's it from the rest of Chain Gear Gaming and guests, of course. So we'll see you guys online, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.